All right, so getting ready for an investment fund manager interview can feel kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, like facing a dragon hoarding all the questions you might get asked.
Right. It can
Yeah.
be a lot. But luckily, we've got this deep dive to help.
Think of us as your treasure map to interview success.
Right.
We're going to figure out what the job really involves.
Exactly. And we've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to help us out. Their career guide and interview guide.
It's like having a cheat sheet for your career. They even found 7 super common questions that pop up in investment fund manager interviews.
Okay, so let's just jump right into those then.
Sounds good. The first one's a classic. Can you explain your experience in managing investment portfolios?
So it's my time to shine, right? But how do I do that without just listing off my past jobs?
Think of it like telling a story. Don't just read off your resume. You got to talk about the strategies you used, how you make decisions, and how you dealt with market changes.
Okay, so instead of saying, I managed a portfolio worth this much money, I should say something like, I used a value investing strategy and focused on tech companies that were undervalued but had lots of potential during the market downturn.
Now you're getting it. You're showing that you get the why behind what you did. For example, you could explain how you spotted those undervalued companies by looking at their financials and comparing their market price to what they're actually worth.
So I need to show off my analytical skills and
Yeah.
then I can make good decisions even when the market is going crazy. And I guess I should back it all up in some numbers too, right? Like if I got a 15% return, I should mention that.
For sure. Numbers give your claims more weight. But don't forget to focus on the how, not just the what. Like, what was your biggest win with the portfolio and what strategies got you there?
Makes sense. Okay, so what about follow-up questions? They'll probably ask about a time when things didn't go so well, right?
Oh, yeah, they almost definitely will. So be ready to talk about a challenge or a setback you faced while managing a portfolio. And the most important part is what you learned from it. It shows you're mature and willing to learn from your mistakes.
Got it. Okay, next question. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends in the investment industry?
This is where you prove you're not just following the crowd, you're actively looking for new knowledge.
So mentioning industry publications, conferences, and influential people is a good start, right? RoleCatcher actually lists staying updated as a key skill in their career guide.
Yeah, those are all good. But think about what makes you different. What are you doing that others aren't? Are you playing around with AI tools for investment analysis, maybe even using something like RoleCatcher's AI to get a better grasp of new trends? Or maybe you're following niche investment blogs or podcasts that dive deep into specific sectors.
It's about showing I'm curious and not afraid to try new things to get ahead.
Exactly. Now let's tackle a question that throws a lot of people off. Can you describe your investment philosophy?
Wow, this one sounds deep. Should I start quoting Warren Buffett?
Hold on. It's not about reciting famous quotes or textbook definitions. This is all about you. What are your core beliefs about investing? Are you a cautious value investor who hunts for bargains, or are you more into high-growth companies, even if it's riskier?
So I could say something like, I like to use a balanced approach, looking at both value and growth potential. And I carefully assess risk tolerance to make sure my strategies line up with the investor's goals.
Perfect. That shows you're thoughtful and consider both risk and reward. Interviewers are trying to understand how you make decisions and how you approach investing.
Makes sense. Okay, question number 4. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult investment decision?
Ah, the classic tell me about a time question.
Yeah.
This is your chance to show off your judgment, analytical skills, and how you handle pressure. Pick a situation where you had a tough choice to make. Maybe you had conflicting information or the market was going crazy.
So I should walk them through my thought process. What factors did I consider? What were the potential downsides? And how did I try to reduce those risks? Maybe I could talk about that time I decided to pull out of a certain sector based on what I was seeing with geopolitical risks.
Exactly. Don't forget to talk about the outcome. Did your decision pay off? What did you learn from the experience, and how did it change your approach to investing in the future?
Right. Interviewers want to see that you can learn and adapt. Okay, this next one sounds kind of tricky. Can you describe a time when you had to manage a difficult client relationship?
You'd be surprised how important people skills are even in finance. This question is all about your communication and how you get along with others. Think of a time when you had to deal with a tough client. Maybe they disagreed with your investment strategy or they were really demanding.
So I should focus on how I listened to their concerns, explain things clearly, and found a solution that worked for everyone. Maybe I could talk about the time I had a client who was freaking out during a market crash, and I had to calmly explain the long-term plan and reassure them that their portfolio was being managed well.
Yeah. Emphasize empathy, problem solving, and your ability to build trust, even when things are tough. Remember, successful investment fund managers are good with people, not just numbers.
Okay, I'm seeing the bigger picture now. It's not just about technical skills. It's about being a well-rounded person who can handle the crazy market and the people involved. What about question 6? Can you describe a time when you had to adjust your investment strategy due to market conditions?
This is about showing you can adapt and navigate the ever-changing market. Pick a specific example where you had to change your strategy because of something unexpected, like interest rates going haywire or a big global economic.
So I could talk about how the crazy inflation last year affected my investment strategy and how I shifted my portfolio to include things like inflation-protected securities and commodities to protect against rising prices.
Perfect. You've shown that you're not stuck in your ways and can analyze the market spot trends and make changes to protect and grow the fund's assets.
All right, last question in this set. Can you describe your experience in managing a team of investment professionals?
This is a big one if you're aiming for a leadership role. They want to see how you motivate, delegate, and create a good team environment. What's your management style? How do you inspire your team to reach their goals?
So I should tell a story about a time my team was successful, right? Maybe when we all worked together to come up with a new investment strategy that totally crushed the market. I could talk about how we divided tasks based on everyone's strengths, had open communication, and celebrated our wins together.
Exactly. Highlight how you use individual strengths to achieve a shared goal and how you create a positive team environment. That shows you can lead and inspire people to be successful.
Wow, we've gone over a lot, and I already feel way more confident about tackling these questions.
And we've only just scratched the surface. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers and stand out from the crowd. And we'll uncover some great career tips from their guides.
This is awesome. I feel so much more prepared and excited to tackle this interview. Stay tuned, listeners. We'll be back with more tips and tricks to help you conquer that investment fund manager interview and boost your career.
So before we really got into those interview questions, we were talking about how RoleCatcher's AI can be a total game changer when you're prepping.
I'm still kind of blown away by the idea of AI being like my personal interview coach. It's like having a secret weapon.
It really is. Imagine you're not going into these interviews totally blind. You've got RoleCatcher's AI looking at the specific job description, picking out keywords, and helping you make sure your answers highlight exactly the skills and experience they're looking for.
So it's about showing what makes me different and that I get their needs and how I can help them succeed. It's not just about having generic answers ready. It's about customizing them to each company and role.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can even look at your video responses and give you feedback on your body language, your tone, and how you present yourself overall.
Whoa. It's like a virtual mirror showing me how I come across and giving me tips on how to improve.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher's library of career guides and resources. They give you a complete view of what it's like to be an investment fund manager, including career paths, salary expectations, and certifications that could really help you out.
So it's not just about prepping for this one interview. It's about understanding the whole industry, the different jobs out there, and the skills I need to move up in my career.
Exactly. It's about taking charge of your career and making smart choices about your professional growth. Now, let's switch gears for a bit and look at some of the insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide for Investment Fund Managers. It's full of good stuff that can give you an edge in your interviews.
Awesome. What were some of the things that jumped out at you?
One thing that really stood out was the emphasis on always learning. The investment world never sits still, so staying up to date with the latest trends, technologies, and regulations is crucial.
They actually list staying updated with industry trends and regulations as like core knowledge for this role. They recommend subscribing to financial news publications, attending conferences, and joining professional associations.
All great advice,
Yeah.
but it's also about going beyond the usual sources. Are you exploring new investment strategies? Are you trying out AI-powered tools? Show them that you're a lifelong learner, always hungry for new knowledge.
So they ask, how do you stay informed about the latest developments in the industry? I shouldn't just list off a bunch of publications. I should mention online courses I've taken, podcasts I listen to, or even investment blogs I follow.
Exactly. You want to show them that you're curious and actively trying to learn more.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide also talks about the typical work environment for investment fund managers. They say it's high pressure, fast-paced, with long hours, and a constant need to watch what the market's doing.
That's definitely something to keep in mind. This isn't a 9-to-5 job. It takes dedication, resilience, and the ability to handle stress.
So when they ask, why are you interested in this role? Or what are your strengths? I should talk about my ability to work under pressure, my work ethic, and my passion for the challenges of the financial markets.
Definitely. They need to see that you're not just in it for the money, but that you genuinely enjoy the intellectual challenge and the fast-paced nature of the work.
The career guide also mentions some of the pros and cons of being an investment fund manager. On the good side, there's high earning potential, the chance to work with big money, and the intellectual stimulation.
But of course, there's the high stress, the long hours, and the fact that your job security isn't always guaranteed, especially when the market's volatile. It's important to be aware of both the rewards and the challenges.
So it's about finding the right balance, right? Knowing yourself and your limits and making sure this career actually fits with your values and goals.
Exactly. And speaking of goals, the career guide talks about potential career paths for investment fund managers. You could move up within your company, go to a bigger firm, or even start your own investment firm.
They also highlight the importance of always learning and recommend that people who want to be investment fund managers should go for advanced certifications like the CFA, FRM, CIMA, or CAIA.
Those certifications can definitely make you a more attractive candidate. They show that you're committed to professional development and that you have expertise in specific areas of finance.
So if they ask, what are your long-term career aspirations?
Yeah.
I could mention that I'm interested in getting a CFA designation and that I want to manage a bigger portfolio or lead a team of analysts someday.
Perfect. You're showing them you're ambitious, driven, and committed to growing professionally. And here's a bonus tip. RoleCatcher's platform lets you track your progress towards these certifications, set reminders for exams, and even connect with other people who are working towards the same goals.
It's like having a personalized career roadmap guiding you along the way. But let's not forget about networking, which is so important in the job search.
Right. Building relationships with other people in the industry can open up so many opportunities and give you valuable insights.
And RoleCatcher can actually help with that too. They have a network management tool that lets you import and organize your contacts, link them to job applications, and keep track of your interactions.
It's like a souped-up virtual Rolodex. You can easily see who you've talked to, what you discussed, and even set reminders to follow up with important people.
I'm starting to see why RoleCatcher is such a big deal for job seekers. It's not just a place to find job postings. It's a complete platform with tools and resources for every part of the job search and career development process.
And the best part is it's all designed to be easy to use. You don't need to be a tech expert to figure out the platform and use its features.
Okay, I think we've covered a ton in this deep dive. We've explored the investment fund manager role, broken down those tricky interview questions, and even unlocked the secrets of RoleCatcher's AI.
But there's still more to come. We'll wrap things up with some final insights and tips to help you nail that investment fund manager interview and launch your career.
Okay, so we're back, and we've been digging deep into the world of investment fund manager interviews.
We've given you a ton of tips and tricks to help you prepare.
Right, like breaking down tough interview questions and showing you how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a real edge.
Exactly. Now let's talk about how to really stand out in these interviews. What can you do to go above and beyond?
I'm thinking of myself as a financial superhero, swooping in to save the day with my amazing market knowledge.
Haha. I love the energy. Maybe skip the cape for the interview, but there's another powerful tool you can use: storytelling. Remember those questions we talked about where they ask you about specific situations you've faced?
You mean the behavioral questions?
Yep. Those are your chances to turn facts and figures into a story that they'll remember.
Oh, I see. So instead of just saying, I increased bond allocations when interest rates went up, I should tell a story about it.
Exactly. Talk about the challenges, the data you analyze, and how your decision led to good results. For example, you could say, when interest rates started climbing, I knew it would affect our fixed income portfolio. So I took a close look at what we had, ran some stress tests, and decided to increase our allocation to short-term bonds to minimize potential losses.
Okay, so I'm painting a picture of myself as someone who takes initiative and makes smart decisions. Not just reacting to the market, but being ahead of it. And it's not just about numbers either, right? RoleCatcher mentions soft skills like listening and communication. How do I show those off?
Storytelling comes in handy there too. When you're talking about a tough client situation, don't just say you fixed it, make it a story. Describe how you really listened to their concerns, understood their worries, and communicated in a way that built trust. You found a solution that worked for them while still sticking to your investment strategy?
So I'm showing them that I'm not just good with numbers. I can handle the people side of things too.
Yeah.
And speaking of being personable, how much of my personality should I show? Should I be super serious or can I let loose a little?
It's important to be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. Let your passion for the markets shine through, and a little humor never hurts as long as it's appropriate.
So it's okay to be enthusiastic and maybe crack a joke or two. Just got to keep it professional.
Exactly. Be genuine, but also remember to be respectful and present yourself well. Okay, let's talk about something that can be a little uncomfortable. Salary expectations. RoleCatcher has salary info, but how do I talk about money without feeling awkward?
Yeah, that's always a tricky one.
The key is to do your homework. Research what people in similar roles are making, taking into account your experience and skills. When you talk about your expectations, be clear and direct, but also be flexible.
So it's a conversation, not a demand. And I should be ready to talk about things like bonuses and benefits, not just a set salary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just negotiating a paycheck, you're negotiating your worth to the company. Now, here's a tip that a lot of people forget. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, yeah. Asking questions shows I'm interested in paying attention. It's also my chance to see if this company is a good fit for me.
Right. Have a few questions ready beforehand. Think about the company's investment philosophy, their risk management, or even their thoughts on the current market. Those are good starting points, and the conversation might lead to even more questions.
This deep dive has been so helpful. I feel way more prepared to go into this interview and really show them what I can do.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher has tons of resources to help you get ready. Explore their platform, use their AI tools, and check out their career guides.
It's like having a whole team of career coaches in my corner. And to all our listeners out there, remember, never stop learning, build your network, and keep growing professionally. That's how you'll succeed in this exciting field.
Absolutely. And we're here to support you every step of the way.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.